now it's time for Culture Talk, where we discuss culturally relevant topics that you can use to start conversations about your faith. I'm joined today with astrophysicist Jeff Zweerink, and we're going to be talking about ethical concerns about artificial intelligence. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us.
It's good to be here again talking with you, Sandra.
Yeah, you recently wrote an article about deep fakes. What are deep fakes?
So deep fakes are kind of the equivalent of Photoshop for videos. You've got these photos out there of people that look really tall or somebody catching a bird, but the bird isn't really there. And so you've got this photo that looks like something that, or that portrays something that didn't actually happen. Well, deep fakes are kind of the equivalent for videos. And what you can do, or what the technology allows you to do, is to take someone saying something, and then you can transpose a very famous other figure to make them sound like they're saying it. So you could have President Trump saying something, or past President Obama saying something that they never would have said, and it looks like they're actually the ones saying it.
So with regard to then like artificial intelligence, how realistic and believable are these deep fakes?
So at this point, they're still relatively easy to spot. I mean, I've seen a few of them that are out there, and you kind of watch them and they still look a little bit off, like there's something a little bit wrong. But what they've done with the artificial intelligence is actually gone in and they set up one side of the artificial intelligence that is trying to produce a video that is realistic, and another side that's over there trying to detect all the flaws in it. And so the better we get at detecting the flaws, the more realistic the videos that are going to be produced. So right now, they're still relatively easy to spot, but in the not too distant future, it's going to be pretty seamless that you can produce a video of something that looks like it happened, but it never did, and it's going to be very difficult to tell that it's actually a fake video.
So if technology eventually gets to the point where we can't really detect that something is a deep fake, how can we respond as Christians to something like this, and especially in light of our desire to pursue truth?
I think that's the question that has got me, or that I thought a lot about with this, and it just kind of occurred to me that seeing is believing very often, and what we need to now do is realize that we need to be very careful about what we believe. I think of the Bible verse that it says, "Be quick to listen and slow to speak and slow to get angry." And I think that's what we need to, just kind of the first step is that when we hear something that sounds incredulous or sounds like, wow, that's weird, let's make sure to step back, take a second, and go investigate and see what really happened. Go out, do some research on the internet. Actually take some time to inform yourself, is this really what's going on, or is this something that's a fake? And then once you've got that, actually apply another scriptural principle. I remember reading in Proverbs when I was younger that, the first side of an argument always sounds good until you hear the other side. So not only do we need to go out and ask, is this real? But we need to go out and ask the question, is this really the best argument out there? That's kind of countercultural in our kind of social media where you got to get on and say things right away. But I think the biggest step to this is just take a step back, slow down, make sure you actually understand what's going on before you respond to it.
Yeah, and that's such a good reminder, because sometimes we fall into that trap. We are looking for, confirmation bias. We have that confirmation bias. And so we look, especially on social media, and all we do is consume information that perpetuates our thinking. We're not actually pursuing truth. We're not actually digging in and allowing our ideas to be challenged, And so with these deep fakes, we can run into that because we can find videos that look like they're real, and we're unwilling to dig further to see if they're actually true. So I think that's a wonderful reminder.
I think that's just an incredibly important thing, that Christians, above all, we ought to be first and foremost about pursuing the truth, because I'm a Christian because I believe it's true. And so we really ought to be about pursuing truth out in the world. And I know just for myself, there are times where I've been reported as saying this or that, or something that wasn't true. And I don't like being treated that way. And so if there's things out there that aren't true, we ought to apply the golden rule. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Make sure you understand what they're actually saying, not what you think they might want to say that might further your agenda. Care about the person more than the issues at hand.
Right. That's such a great point, Jeff. Now, I think with things like deepfake, people who are maybe a little bit shy about science, unfortunately, and hesitant, I love that your article says that technology is morally neutral. So can you unpack that a little bit, especially for those Christians who are feeling hesitant about anything deemed artificial intelligence? Like, how would you respond to that kind of fear in addressing the point that technology is morally neutral?
Well, most of my studies into technology is that technology is a tool that can be used. And so I wouldn't call a hammer bad just because someone goes out and hits somebody and hurts them with it. It just means they're using the technology incorrectly. And the same is true of AI. I mean, we're using AI to investigate large swaths of data that it would take forever for humans to get through. We're able to use AI to look at X-rays and identify diseases faster and better than humans would be able to. So this is a very powerful tool that can really contribute to and enhance human well-being. We just have to recognize that it's a very powerful tool, and so it can also be used for great evil. And so rather than throwing the tool out of the toolbox, we need to equip ourselves to use the tool well. And I think that's, again, a place where Christians can really lead and be at the forefront, because if we're using things like AI to do good, then people are going to say, hey, that's a good thing. Why is it that Christians are so interested in doing?
Yeah, what a great, just a great point, Jeff. I love that you are saying we don't need to be scared of this technology. In fact, we should be leading the way to really help people. So if people want to check out more on this topic, they can go to reasons.org and search artificial intelligence. I think you have a handful of blog articles on this topic.
That is correct.
Thanks again for joining us, Jeff.